She need the phone.
Greetings to you everyone and welcome on board wherever you're watching us. We are coming to you live from Paris, France, where the president of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement, the principal opposition political party in Cameroon, is meeting with his support fan base here in Paris. He has just held a press conference where he talked about the political situation in Cameroon, his prison experience, and the reason why he's not going to be taking part in the upcoming twin elections in Cameroon. Right now, we are having Professor Maurice Kamto, who is here in Paris. Professor, thank you so much for talking to Deutsche Welle.
You're welcome.
And just to remind those who are watching us all over the world that we are coming to you live from GW Africa Facebook page. We thank you so much. We want to know what you think about the topics that we are going to be discussing with the CRM or MRC president or political leader in Cameroon. Now, Maurice Kamto, I know you as a principal opposition leader in Cameroon. That is how I personally know you. I know about your journey. How would you want the world and your supporters in Cameroon to remember you?
Thank you for having me this morning or this afternoon. I would like my fellow compatriots and probably people abroad to see me as a Cameroonian who is dedicated to his country and who will always do his best to bring his own contribution to the settlement of problems in my country and to the construction of a new Cameroon where people live together, where the youth has its own place, and where the prospect of building a strong country with a modern leadership focused on the development and the shared prosperity in the country is in place. That's how I would like people to remind me.
Constructing a new Cameroon, but boycotting an upcoming election, which is aimed at defining the political future in the country. The MRC that you are actually leading is not taking part in the upcoming municipal legislative election in Cameroon that is going to be in February. You have given a good number of reasons. How do you expect this change to come in place without going through the normal democratic process that you're supposed to go through?
We don't think that the upcoming elections will resolve our country, and that's why when you say that these elections are going to define the future of the country, I don't think so, because seriously, it is not going to change anything on the current situation in the country. The multifaceted crisis in our country with two key ones. The first one being the current situation in the northwest and southwest of Cameroon, the so-called Anglophone regions of Cameroon, which is sad when you think of it. That there is an ongoing war for the past 3 years in our own country, Cameroonians fighting Cameroonians, Cameroonians shooting on Cameroonians, Cameroonians killing Cameroonians, and we are not able to settle the matter. There is something wrong there. It is something I can't understand. If you lead a country, you should make sure that you address the concern of people. If people in the English-speaking part of the country say that they have a problem, they are not satisfied with the current form of the government, and you say you don't care about that, it means that there is something wrong. I cannot, with this pending situation in the English-speaking part of my country, with the whole electoral hold-up after the 2018 presidential elections, go to elections knowing perfectly that the outcome of these elections will not be what we expect, according to our weight on the ground, according to what we represent in the Cameroonian arena today. So that's why we took the decision not to go to these elections. But it does not mean that we shy away from democracy. We took the decision to reach or to go into power peacefully and through elections. This is our path since the very beginning, since the creation of Cameroon Renaissance Movement. Taking the decision not to go to election does not mean that you are not playing democracy. You are not part of the democratic game. It is just that you are upset with a situation, and you try to reach out the government by sending them a clear message, because you try to do it otherwise, they never listen to you. We made many proposals how to settle the matter, to solve the problem in the Anglophone area, northwest and southwest. We extend a peaceful hand to government to sit down and make a consensual reform of the electoral system. It means that we are part of the democratic system.
Process. Now, it's very important what you're talking about, especially the Anglophone crisis,
yeah,
and what you have done. We'll be coming back in just a few seconds.
Yeah.
But I want to know about those who are supporting the Cameroon Renaissance Movement Party that you are leading.
Yeah.
Their political ambitions. They wanted to be mayors. They wanted to be municipal councillors and also occupy seats in parliament to be able to change things in the country. You have good number of supporters on the ground. That is why you came second for the first time in the history of Cameroon during the 2018 presidential election. What do you want to do with this fan base that you have in Cameroon and those who have these political ambitions that had to leave other political parties to join the MRC?
First of all, I came second according to the government and the Constitutional Council. I'm still saying that I won the elections in the polls, but the government decided otherwise. It doesn't mean that I came second. I came second according to them. Having said that, can someone imagine that his personal ambitions can be over the fate of the country? Because you want to become a mayor, you want to become an MP, you disregard completely what is going on in the country. If there are killings going on in region of a part of your country, you will still go to elections to become a mayor.
And what are you telling the voters? That they shouldn't vote? They should not vote?
They should not vote, of course. We send delegations throughout the country to explain the decision of the party, why we are not going to elections. And believe me, the feedback is really very, very, I'm very happy with the feedback because people are very supportive. Even some of those who did not understand perfectly the decision not to go to elections, now they understand. And if you go to the two regions, you will see that many of our militants and supporters are very happy because they can walk in the street without any threat from anywhere, as people who are, looking at people dying, and then they will just go to fight to win a seat for their own sake. You do not go to politics to play a game for yourself. You go to change the country. When you say, okay, people wanted to go to the parliament to change it, how do they change the country? Now we have 180 seats in the parliament in Cameroon. And before going to elections, all the seats in competitions for the oppositions are 46 seats. Meaning that if they win all the 46 seats, yet they will not have the majority in the parliament. They will not even approach the majority in the parliament. How do they change anything with that?
So to you, that would not be in any way significant?
Absolutely.
Now, on to something else. In 2019, on the 26th of January, Professor Maurice Kamto, who is a leading opposition party leader in Cameroon, was arrested alongside hundreds of other supporters of his party, jailed for 9 months, and was released later after a lot of mobilization, domestic mobilization and international mobilization. Maurice Kamto was released later. Tell us how your experience was when you were in jail.
Oh, it will be a very long story.
I know.
Yeah,
just summarize. Tell us how it was.
The prison is not something, it's not a place where you would like to send somebody, even your enemy. The prison is a prison, and especially in our own area over there in Cameroon. So what I can say is that it's a time for you to reflect maybe a little bit more on your, not on your personal future, but on your political agenda. How will I achieve the goal I would like my country with my people to achieve? And this is the type of thing we reflected on during our detention. I would not spend my time complaining on myself.
Explaining. And while you were in prison, you equally met...
Yes, what shocked me the most was the torture against many of our militants. You know, the first vice president of Cameroon Renaissance Movement was severely beaten with his head broken and right or left hand, anyway, one of his hand broken by the government, by the, should I say government, let's say the police or gendarmes agents. So, and he was not the only one. So that was a matter of concern, and still a matter of concern for me, because people are still tortured until today in Cameroon, many of our militants. The last point I would like to make here is that the prison has not changed my commitment and my faith in the future of Cameroon. Secondly, the prison has not changed anything in the conduct of the government. The government has only proved that they are really a dictatorship, and that they are continuing in the same direction. Because if you look at the current situation, since we were released some 3 or 4 months ago, we have not been able to hold any meeting, public meetings in Cameroon as a political party. I'm not talking of march, just a meeting, fixed meeting. Everywhere we made a declaration for a meeting, the government refused.
Now, so, in prison, you met with leaders of the separatist movement that were also arrested. Yeah. What did you discuss with them?
No, we were not supposed to have, we met as prisoners, common prisoners every day, and we have a chat from time to time. We were not there to, discuss on their own agenda or on our own agenda. The only thing I can say is that it is people you can talk with. And that's why I keep on saying that we can resolve the problem of Cameroon politically if there is a will. But there is no trust anymore whatsoever in the current government. They don't see the current leadership of Cameroon as composed of people with whom they can talk seriously. And the mistrust is something which is terrible when it comes to dialogue. If you are not trustful of somebody, you cannot really go to do anything serious with it.
Professor Maurice Kamto, there's this question of what you can really do as far as the Anglophone crisis is concerned. Yeah. You are a renowned political figure in Cameroon. You have a lot of contacts on the international scene. What have you been able to do to resolve this crisis?
To propose a new way of handling the matter. First of all, involve all the stakeholders in the dialogue. When we talk of inclusive dialogue, it means that you should bring around the table all the stakeholders, all of them, including the representatives of armed groups, the separatists, and those who were sentenced to life and who are still in prison, Mr. Ayuk Tabe Sisiku and the others. Because if you don't talk to people, you don't convince them. Why should you impose your own agenda or your own views on issues to others? Bring them to the table and explain to them why probably the cessation is not the good option. But don't just say, I don't talk of that, I will never talk of federalism or whatsoever. Bring them around the table. But before doing that, make sure that you negotiate a ceasefire with those who are fighting. That they lay their arms down and bring, some peace, cool down their hearts, because they can go back and see their own families, see their villages. Many of them have lost their villages, which are burned down to ashes, and they would like to see if their aunts or grandma is still there. After that, they can take part to the dialogue.
What is your own solution as far as the form of the state is concerned? What is your solution?
Now, today...
Apart from dialogue, what do you think can resolve the Anglophone crisis? Is it decentralization?
I was vocal enough on that issue, because I've seen some videos circulating saying that, Kamto in doing it. It's not serious, and it is people, who are political leaders in Cameroon. My position is quite clear. I said that decentralization is not any solution anymore, because it's too small and too late. I clearly said that the solution is federalism today. It is federalism. But I have always said that it is not a two-state federalism. I think it will not be serious. Just to say we go back to 1961. We start with the Anglophone, discuss with them, and agree on the content they would like to see in their own state as part of the federal government or system in Cameroon. And from there, you extend it to the rest of Cameroon. Because it's not only Anglophone today who ask for federalism. Many Francophones are also asking for federalism.
Just one last question before we go. Do you want to stand as president again when the mandate of President Pobia of Cameroon expires in 6 years?
It will be for my political party to decide. I always say that.
What about you?
No, because even if I am candidate, it is the party which take the decision to present me as his candidate or not. So I might have my own personal ambition. But if the party decide otherwise, I will not be able to change. But at least for now, it's too early to tell you whether I will be candidate within the party or not. The key issue today is how do we solve the crucial problems ahead of us. First of all, Anglophone problem. And I say the solution in terms of the form of state is federalism. I can see maybe 4 to 6 states, not more than that. Because let me go back to two-state federalism. Those who are claiming that, okay, if we said it is two-state federalism, and then after that the Francophone part say, okay, we'd like to create more state, will Anglophone be opposed to that? I don't think so.
Because when you start talking about two-state federalism or 6, you're already determining the content and the outcome of the dialogue that you mentioned.
Yes,
Is
but
that not?
No. What did I say? I used to say that I will not back secession. I'm not in favor of secession, separatism. I'm not in favor of that. And if you are not in favor of federalism, what else? What do you have to offer to Anglophones today? Is federalism. And that's why I say I'm in favor of federalism. CRM is today in favor of federalism. And we can now discuss the content. But personally, I don't think that we should only go back to 61, because it means that we just ignore the 50 years we have passed altogether with a lot of mistake, but also with some great achievements as a country. As a country, I'm not talking of a government or whatsoever, because I'm talking of a country coming together, learning from each other in terms of legal system, in terms of education and so on. We have learned a lot. And from there we can say, okay, we gain at least something. Some few things, maybe not so important, but we gain something. So going back to 61 will mean that we never, we just forget or ignore the past 50 years. My approach is that we should discuss starting with Anglophone. So what content do you put in the type of autonomy you are seeking, you are looking for? Federal government you are looking for. Once we have done that, we have resolved that, then we say, okay, we want a developed Cameroon. And to have a developed Cameroon, somebody living in Marwa should not be obliged to come to Yaoundé to have a solution to his problem.
Thank you so much, Professor Maurice Kamto. You're meeting the diaspora. Would you be meeting the separatist community as well in the diaspora? Just last question.
I have not identified any separatist community. I'm meeting
the
all.
Anglophone community,
No,
the
I'm
diaspora.
meeting all Cameroonians, irrespective
of
yes,
their
of
political.
their absolutely.
Thank
of
you
their
so
political.
much for speaking to Deutsche Welle. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was the president of the principal opposition political party in Cameroon, Professor Maurice Kamto, speaking exclusively on Deutsche Welle. We thank you so much for watching. Until we meet again, goodbye.